What's up, YouTube? It's Badger here. It's been a long time since I've uploaded a video. For those of you who don't know me by my real name, it's Isaiah Dawkins. I am 22 years old. I just turned 22 on October 1st. In this video, I wanted to come clean with you guys with why I haven't been uploading. Um, there's been a lot going on in my life recently, and I'm also struggling with two medical conditions that are affecting me in Airsoft. One being essential tremor and the other being PTSD. Um, for those of you who don't know what those are, essential tremor is a neurological condition in which it's usually genetically transmitted or caused by brain trauma, such as people having car accidents. And then the other, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is more common in veterans, but it can also be common in civilians as well. It's caused by psychological trauma. I have a severe case of both, pretty much. My essential tremor was originally genetically transmitted when I was born, but it was worsened after November 2020. I actually attempted suicide by driving my car into a tree at 50 miles an hour without an airbag and sustained major brain damage. I ended up having a brain hemorrhage on my right along with another brain hemorrhage on my left side of my head, busted brain ventricles, along with the entire right side of my face was broken. They actually had to do facial reconstruction surgery on me, and for many of you, you may be able to see that one side of my face, or if you look around the eyes, one side it looks smaller or lower than the other. That would be why. They did a great job. Most people can't tell. It's not perfect, but they did the best they could considering the condition I was in. I was very fortunate to make it out. It was a blessing. I went into cardiac arrest as well, and the EMTs had to revived me on the ambulance, and I spent 30 hours in ICU, so on a ventilation tube. So it was a very rough time. I've had a lot going on since then as well, and the after effects of it are still affecting me today with the essential tremor. It made the case a lot worse. Pretty much the PTSD and essential tremor both cause tremors, and they can be triggered by, as far as the essential tremor is concerned, it can be triggered by extreme weather, such as if it's too hot or too cold. It can also be triggered by fatigue or any form of muscle tightness. So this has been one of the main reasons I haven't been in the field, and then the PTSD can also trigger it as well. I have a lot of psychological trauma from childhood. I dealt with a good amount of abuse growing up as a child at home with family, and I also was bullied a lot in school throughout elementary, middle school, high school, and then going into college where I am now. I dealt with a lot of bullying then. Haven't had many friends growing up, never been in a relationship or anything. So it's been a really tough, lonely time. It's had a really hard effect on me, and still does. I'm still dealing with it. But both of these are causing me the reason why I haven't really been in the field recently. The tremors are very violent. For those of you who are familiar with essential tremor, you're probably familiar with it being generally a shaking in the hands when you hold your hand out. And people generally have trouble like using scissors or steadying their hands to do things like, if you're female, you probably have trouble using the eyeliner or trying to like put makeup on and things. Artists have trouble doing artist things like drawing straight lines, using scissors, coloring things neatly, that type of things. Thankfully, I'm actually a great artist and an art student in college, but it has been a struggle sometimes. But in the field, you can probably understand why these are a issue. My tremors were worsened by that wreck significantly, so when I have these tremors now, they are no longer just a minor shaking in the hand. They are generally a very violent shaking or tremor, and it looks like I'm having a seizure to most people. Most people panic when I start having them because they think I'm having a seizure, and I have to say, no, it's okay, it's just tremors. And they do get pretty violent to the point where they are full body motions and they look like I'm convulsing. But they're not convulsions, but they look exactly like convulsions. So that they can be pretty violent. My arms and legs will be kicking themselves. My body may be thrusting up and down and shaking really, really bad. I've had a number of these episodes at work, which has caused employment issues. I've had issues at school, which has caused issues with being able to stay in school. And I've also had issues at home. And all of these have resulted in countless emergency room visits, ambulance transportations, because a lot of times I can't actually speak. It almost feels like my vocal cords are kind of tangled up or really tight. So if I do try to speak, only air comes out, or my voice will be cut in and out as I'm trying to speak. And then all the while I'll be spazzing all over the place, so it's really hard. It was almost impossible to kind of look someone in the eye and answer a question. So it's been a hard road and a lot of struggling to deal with that. So it's really risky for me to go in the field, because I don't want to go in the field and end up having one of these episodes while I'm alone, because I usually do go out in the field and operate alone, or I may be with one other teammate at most. But I am generally non-ambulatory once these things happen. I actually did have one in the field. If you guys go back to my PBC video, you'll notice I said I only had limited footage that day because I had some medical issues. That was actually what happened that day. Right before lunch break happened, I collapsed on the ground and had a tremor episode, and I was tremoring really bad, spazzing all over the place, couldn't control anything, I couldn't speak. It actually took the guys, thankfully I was in a building when they called game, and they actually called everyone in. They were calling in people for lunch break, but they were calling in pretty much the debrief right around where I was. And it took them a minute to kind of recognize what was going on with me. But when they finally realized, they thought I was having a seizure at first, because it looks like a seizure. But they got my body armor off and everything. And I was so hot that day that I actually had steam coming off of my chest once they took my plate carrier off and my helmet off. So they had to call an ambulance out, and I was taken to the ER that day, and I was out of commission for the rest of the day. So since then, I've been really cautious about going back into the field. I don't want to let it stop me from playing Airsoft. Neither do I want to let my PTSD let me stop me from playing Airsoft, but I do want to be cautious. I don't want to disrupt games, and I don't want to be in the ER. I don't really like hospitals too much. So the nurses are really sweet and nice, and doctors are really nice. They take care of me, but I do not like waiting in emergency rooms, and I don't think many people do. So this is why I haven't really been in the field. They do have medication to address these things, but unfortunately, the bigger priority for all of my doctors, is my mental health, because there is that suicide attempt that I told you about, where I drove myself into a tree 50 miles an hour. But there have been other attempts since then. There's been some mental health hospitalizations. I've had a lot going on, like I've said. I've been dealing with homelessness for the last few months as well, since I lost my place after losing my job. So they are more concerned about my mental health over anything, and the mental health medications I'm on are preventing me from being able to take the more neurological medications that can help with the essential tremor to lessen the side effects of it. So unfortunately, I'm still dealing with the essential tremor full blown. I have to be really cautious and careful, because sometimes I can have tremors just walking from my car to the front door of a store. Um, so I have to move really quick. And when it's cold outside, if it's hot outside, I need to make sure I stay in a cold environment. Um, Really careful when it's fall weather like it is now, and it's hot. It's cold in the morning, cold at night, and then really hot throughout the day. I have to be really careful to make sure I'm in the adjusted environment. Otherwise, it will be a very bad day, and I will likely need an ambulance to come save me. So, um, I thank all of you for being patient with me. I noticed I have not lost a single subscriber since I stopped uploading. I thank you guys so much for that. Thank you for understanding. I will be back in the field soon. I cannot give definitive dates on which games I will be at, with the reason being is because I need to be careful about which games I show up to. I don't want to go out like a game like today where it may be raining and it's windy and it's cold, because that will trigger my tremors almost instantly, and that will be a hospital trip right there. So I will be looking for more favorable days, and I'm also coming out a little more stable financially from my homeless situation. So I will be back in the field soon, but I wanted to let you guys know what was going on. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop comments down below. I will get back to you soon. Um, I will leave my Instagram link in the description as well if you want to come message me on Instagram. I don't mind talking with you there either. I thank you guys for your support. I look forward to seeing you guys soon in my other videos.